Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about a few things about the most recent episode of Ahsoka that I didn't capture in my review, including some theories. I'll take some of your questions if there's time at the end. But before we get into things, I do just want to spur some conversation down in the comments on a fairly contentious topic. If Star Wars is going to tackle the Thrawn trilogy like it looks like it's going to with the Ahsoka series, we are going to need to run into our original trilogy heroes. That begs the question, what should be done with them? Should Star Wars go with CGI and AI trickery, deepfaking the actors as has been done with The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett, or should Star Wars recast? I posted this on Twitter today. I think it sums up well my thoughts, but I feel like Star Wars is basically a myth. These are timeless stories, and in my opinion, the characters can and need to evolve beyond the point where they can only be portrayed by those single actors. Obviously, with Hayden Christensen, he can still be Anakin, so he should be Anakin, but I don't think we should have CGI puppet Luke forever. Obviously, get as close as you can to the original actors, but we're talking about a series that has spanned 50 years at this point almost. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. So, after the most recent episode of Ahsoka, we've now seen almost every shot shown in the marketing material, with the exceptions being the appearance of the Grand Admiral itself. Truly, we have no idea what these final 3 episodes will look like. One of the last shots shown was actually fairly interesting, and I actually thought that it had been abandoned because why hadn't we seen it at this point? And that is the 3 cruisers jumping to what we now know to be CTOS. I think there's actually a lot more going on with this scene, and that it could play into the future of the TV show. Ahsoka has gone out of its way to stress the importance of these new ships. Hera specifically refers to them as state-of-the-art. There have been many long establishing shots showing how impressive they are technologically, and I believe these ships are being built up as a demonstration for the power of Grand Admiral Thrawn. When I saw that this fleet remained at CTOS at the end of the episode, my first thought was that these ships are there so that Thrawn has something to dismantle when he returns to the galaxy with a half-intact Star Destroyer. The thing is, for viewers who aren't familiar with Star Wars Rebels or the character of Thrawn, and this is the highest profile he's really ever been to the average fan, books and animated shows will always be, pretty niche. We haven't really seen why he's someone to fear. Like Ezra, we know is a Jedi, and a Jedi that everyone wants back. So if it's just the trade-off of him coming back alongside an Imperial, sure. Before the season ends, however, it's my belief that we need to see why Thrawn isn't your run-of-the-mill Imperial officer, how he can single-handedly turn the tide of battle and perhaps war. Thrawn's combat with these 3 cruisers and him eking out an incredible tactical victory could mirror what we got very early on with the Thrawn campaign in Star Wars Legends, and that is the Battle of Abroa Sky. Now, I've included some shots from an animation by Corey's Datapad. You can check that out. I've linked it down below. But at Abroa Sky, Thrawn was outmatched, facing down 4 New Republic assault frigates, and by taking advantage of the tactical weakness of the alien commanders, he was able to easily defeat all 4 through a technique known as the Marg Sable, which we have also seen in Star Wars animation. These New Republic vessels, as I've discussed, actually bear a lot of similarity to assault frigates, to the point where I've actually been calling them sort of Mon Calamari assault frigates, in that they are a new vessel, sort of supplementing the existing Rebel fleets, making them significantly more powerful. There is also one element that makes this slightly more interesting. With those New Republic ships is a character who fans have slowly grown to love, that being Carson Teva, who's now appeared in The Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian, and several episodes of Ahsoka. Another way to show us that Thrawn is a bad dude would be through the killing of Carson Teva. And I mean, plot-wise, there would be no real implications to that, but someone on Twitter I saw likened it to Loki killing Coulson in the Avengers movie. He's a well-liked dude. I'm sure there's an established trope of this title, but I think you get the idea. That also would help explain why Zeb wasn't with the squadron if they're meant to eventually be wiped out. One issue, however, is I'm not sure about the timing of the show, whether this is taking place concurrently with The Mandalorian Season 3 or before or after. That would sort of impact whether this theory is possible or not, given that we, of course, do see him alive 5 at the end of season 3 meeting with Mando. All right, we do have some time now at the end, so I will do a few hashtag AskEck questions as a reminder. Down in the comment section below, include your question with the hashtag AskEck, and I'll try to answer it at the end of a next shorter video. This first one comes from Sephiroth. He asks, can you address what I consider the biggest plot hole in the first Ahsoka episodes? Namely, how some ancient map knows where Thrawn went. Dude got yeeted like 10 years ago, so how does an ancient map know where he would have went? And this is probably the question I've got asked the most about Ahsoka, and part of the issue is Star Wars needs to find a new MacGuffin. We've had like 4 or 5 different plots being resolved or started off by there being an ancient map. Jedi Survivor, of course the Star Wars sequels 7 and 9, and I think the answer is that the road to Paradia isn't a map to Thrawn, it's a map to the place where Thrawn is. That distinction is important. Thrawn is taken there by the Purrgil, presumably because they are following their sort of natural migration. But you also have to pay attention to how Morgan Elsbeth talks. She mentions that Thrawn has been exiled to this place in another galaxy. The language that she uses suggests to me that there's some greater significance than it just being a random location. And I think we'll probably see this brought into play next week or perhaps the week after, but the other galaxy, there's going to be something strange going on there, and presumably she was able to sort of look at records or past events, or maybe even in her random communications with Thrawn she seems to be having, which is how she pinpointed where he is. Next question is from Soma, who says, can we just talk about how a galactic barrier in Star Wars doesn't make sense? In order for it to prevent travel outside the galaxy, it would have to surround the galaxy in 3 dimensions, something that is not portrayed in either franchise. Additionally, they leave the galaxy with the plane of the galaxy, which is very likely not the shortest path to other galaxies. Well, I think there are a couple of things here. For one, I wouldn't say that the galactic barrier isn't portrayed in Star Wars canon as 3-dimensional. There have been some references to it being mostly related to the unknown regions, but other references have said that basically anyone who tries to leave the galaxy in any direction doesn't find a whole lot of success. As for the jump point being related to the plane of the galaxy, well, the galactic plane is where most of the planets are situated, and presumably there's something special about Cetos which allows this route to form. I'm guessing because that's where the Purrgils originate from, or that's where they hang out, but I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below on everything I mentioned in this video, including these 2 final questions. Until next time, be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.